Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. And we did a video about Manchester United and the issues of that club a few days ago. Today I want to be more positive and talk about Brighton and Hove Albion and how crazy the start of the season has been for them. I want to talk about the whole football operations and how well it has been run at the club, because coming to the season, looking at my predictions only a few weeks ago, I had them sort of around the relegation spots, and I was predicting at the start of the season they would be in the bottom 3 or 4 teams, but they've started this season on fire. One of the few teams that have gone 2 from 2 for the opening few games, and Fabian Hurzeler, I'm really surprised with how quickly he's got to grips with the league and got to grips with his playing group and making them play fantastic football. I want to talk about how they've gone about their transfer business and how they've really backed the manager in here, and how the whole club just seems to be pushing on here. I thought this would be a really long rebuild. That will be somewhat in the title, somewhere on the thumbnail. It's been a rapid rebuild. I didn't think Brighton would be here potentially competing for European football this season. I thought that would be 3-4 years in advance, but Fabian Hurzeler hit the ground running. They've made some great signings, Brighton, and despite losing some real heart and soul of the football club, they're looking really, really dangerous with a lot of young talent and a young manager. There's a lot to unpack, but I just want to start with their current form in the league. 5 goals scored, 1 goal conceded in their opening 2 games in the Premier League. 2 from 2, 100%. Up there with the likes of Man City and Arsenal in terms of how good they've started this season off. They've got the 12 shots per game and winning 50% of their duels per game. So they're creating chances, they're defending well as well. Hertz has implemented that high line. He's continued with that willingness to use the wide areas and the half spaces attacking as well. And it's been to great effect. We're probably the better side for a large portion versus Manchester United. Absolutely dominated opening match week away at Goodison Park, which is a tough place to go. We know that. So it's been really, really impressive to start the season off. But the thing I want to really start this video on, and why I made this video, is looking at Brighton's spending. And Brighton are a team that over the last few years have just sold and sold and sold, and net profits have been the key word said around. I know on the podcast we've said a lot over the last 12 months. When are they going to try and take that next step and spend? And for me, that's why I thought De Zerbi had left the football club. There was a difference in beliefs. I think De Zerbi wanted to be backed and wanted some funding to try and compete once again for European positions, but the club didn't do that. And I think that's why eventually they parted ways, and De Zerbi's gone and spent some money at Marseille, and Brighton looked for a new manager. I thought they'd be going with that profit margin type of ownership model. Fast forward to where we are today, and when they've spent a lot of money. So in the 23-24 season, they banked in a net profit of 80 million euros. Season prior, in season 22-23, they banked 82 million euros of profit. They made a slight profit in season 21-22 and basically broke even in the season 2021 as well. Compare that to this season, where they're 160 million euros net loss. So they've spent a lot of money this summer. They obviously lose the heart and soul of the football club, and Pascal Gross, for me, one of the big players. For Valentin Barco, who I predicted to be a massive impact in their seasons, being loaned away. They've got rid of Dennis Undav, who's gone back to VfB Stuttgart. Billy Gilmour was linked away to Napoli until Scott McTominay's deal was gone through there. So a lot of players were being out the door, and I was wondering, especially when I made the prediction video, who would replace these players? What type of player are Brighton looking at here? Are they going to make the difference? And you look at some of these signings here, it's been fantastic. They've absolutely backed Fabian Hurzeler, and they're all in a very similar mould. Young players that are very good on the ball and want to play attacking football. Jorginho Ruta, 47 million euros signing. I believe one of their biggest signings in their history, if not the biggest for Brighton. So fantastic signing. I was surprised no one went after him, because behind Crescencio Somerville, probably the best player in the Championship last season for Leeds United. A fantastic player that can play once as a false 9 or lead the line, but is also fantastic in the number 10 spot to supply real dangerous in terms of scoring, creating, and a real physical presence, something that you don't normally see in number 10. So fantastic get there, Jorginho Ruta. Yankuba Minta joined for 35 million euros. Newcastle having to sell him for FFP rulings and the like. They didn't want to get rid of him, but they had to. Had a fantastic season last year in the Eredivisie, I believe. And has hit the ground running this season in the Premier League, and looks probably their best player already from that wide area there. He's been fantastic, spinning in behind, attacking defenders at will, and looking dangerous on that right-hand flank there. Mats Wiefer coming across as well, the Dutch midfielder, big, strong, but very capable in the ball, and is that modern sort of holding midfielder where they can pick the ball up on the half-turn, drive into spaces, and open the game up for their team. He's fantastic and fits the Hurzeler mould to a T. I think he might turn out to be the best signing for Brighton. He came for 32 million euros. Gruder came for 31.5 million euros at pretty bit of an overpay for me, but will be massive as the season goes on. They implement him in the system. Matt O'Reilly joining for 30 million euros as well from the Scottish Premier League. A lot of raps around this young player and a lot of talent there as well, which hopefully they can use. And then Ferdi Kalioglu seems to be here we go for 30 million euros as well. That's not 100% confirmed yet. So you add that 30 million euro spend as well, it's 190 million euros net loss this season. So around 200 million pounds spent, euros spent in this team. That is a lot of money, a lot of backing for Fabian Hurzeler. And as I said, I think that's why De Zerbi and Brighton parted ways. De Zerbi wanted that backing, didn't get that backing. He couldn't keep his side in the Europa League. A lot of injuries in the last season, but they fell well and truly short. There's backing here. There's a lot of... I think none of these players are older than 23 years old. So still that young core of players with the youngest manager or permanent manager in the Premier League ever, and Fabian Hurzeler as well. So it's a real young, we're going to build this team up type feel. And I think for Brighton, that was the way they're going to make their way up to join the European group in the Premier League. No one saw it happening this season. I didn't see it happening this season. But the money they've put into this club, the way Fabian Hurzeler plays his style of football, coming up through the Bundesliga too with FC St. Pauli, a team that were near the relegation zone when he took over that football club and revolutionised that team, playing with not superstars, just playing a really attacking brand of football. And with the players he's got there, they're far better. And he can play some really, really attractive football and can win a lot of games of football as well. I'm a firm believer of, in this sort of modern iteration, look at what Thiago Motta did with Bologna, with Xabi Alonso at Leverkusen, Michel at Girona. Those clubs that were the underdogs last season that all did fantastically well in their respective leagues, played that progressive, modern, ball-playing, aggressive style of football where you want to keep possession, you keep attacking, you utilise the space. For Fabian Hurzeler, there's a real orientation to the wide areas, utilising the half spaces, committing numbers forward. And that's what the system is. Look how they play against Manchester United, keeping that high line. The line was on the halfway line. They had so much space in behind the defence, but they held the line so well, they defended so well. They're such a tight unit. They looked fantastic. And I think if Ferdi Kalioglu joins this back line as well, this is an elite level defence. Veltman in there, Webbs on the bench, Dunk, the leader, the Hunter. You got Verbruggen coming back from an injury after the Euros. He had a fantastic Euros. Arguably up to Donnarumma and Pickford in terms of goalkeepers of the tournament, some of the big saves he was making. Then you've got midfield Vats Vifa, you've got the experienced James Milner in there as well. Billy Gilman looks like he's staying at the football club as well. There's depth, there's quality, there's youthfulness all over the park. Yankuba Minta, Simon Adingra, João Pedro, who's been fantastic. Danny Welbeck's the veteran experience, but he's leading from the front on this side as well. We'd love to see what O'Reilly can do in the middle of the park for this side here as well. Jorginho Ruta at the 10 in behind the centre forward if João Pedro is not up to stand. Now there's depth, there's competitions for positions. Last season it was a lot of injury problems, underwhelming, poor defensive performance. What we're seeing for these opening 2 match days is Fabian Hurzeler has come in and it's not the same intensity as it was under De Zerbi, but it works. It's still high enough pace, still high enough line, competitiveness in there, and a willingness to play when you get in the ball. Willingness to go out there, play with freedom. As I always say, utilise the wide areas, exploit the wide areas, and attack at teams. And it's worked from the first 2 match days. And really excited to see how they can go from here. Because it's really, really positive. It's progressive. It's modern. And we saw how he worked it at St. Pauli, a team that wasn't expected to do what they did, and up winning the Bundesliga too. So he comes here despite being this young manager. All the talks about him being young and inexperienced. He's done it in a very difficult division, the Bundesliga too. And I'm a firm believer in the Bundesliga being one of the most attractive leagues across Europe. The Bundesliga encourages attacking football, exploiting teams, going at teams. You see Leverkusen and Bayern Munich and Dortmund have to do some defending because all the teams don't just sit in. There's no team that's sitting in a low block in the Bundesliga. Teams go after games, trying to win games of football. As such, you have to play that style of football if you want to be successful in Germany. So he has that knowledge. He's done that in the Bundesliga too with FC St. Pauli, and he can implement it here with the Brighton side. And it's a bit different to the Premier League. Still got that defensive identity there, and they sort of that high line, that willingness to be compact at times. But there's the orientation, and the main philosophy is to go and outscore teams and go and attack. And I think that's where Brighton are at their best. And I just think it's just been fantastic at the football club, the way they've turned this around. Because as I said, this ship was sailing one way, and that was down the table this season. That's what I thought from the early lack of transfers and losing their key players. It looked like it wasn't meant to be this season. But the way with the club, with the signings they've made, the fact that Fabian Hurzeler, I've been hearing rumours of he was watching games last season of how Brighton were playing. He's been around the club for a long period of time now. He can implement his small things that at the football club. Way about how players go about training, how they eat, how they perform, the tactics. And it looks like this is a team that's played together for 2 or 3 years. They're ready. They understand the system. They understand what Hurzeler wants. The players that are coming in are all of a similar mold, all young, all people who can play on the ball, willing to go forward, take the game on, and fit Hurzeler's attacking system he's got in. It's just a perfect start, a perfect life here under Hurzeler. And it just goes to show the ownership mold and the identity at Brighton and the ability to just keep producing talent and keep, always outperforming what we can think they can possibly do is ridiculous. And it's such a positive mold, and it's a mold that football clubs have to follow, because started with Graham Potter, it was developed by De Zerbi, but it might be the finished product here under Fabian Hurzeler. It might just be the final end product here. They've gone and spent 200 million euros. They want to get back into Europe. Will we see them be a real top 4 threat, top 6 threat this year in the Premier League? Might they win a trophy, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup? It could just be the year for them, because the way they've started is fantastic. And I know it's very reactionary here, but I've just been super impressed with the football club, and my faith in the way the club is run again is restored, because the last few seasons, with all the losses they were making, not really doing enough for me to compete in Europa League last season. This is a statement from the ownership. This is a statement from Fabian Hurzeler and the football club to spend 200 million euros with names like Jorginho Ruta, Yankuba Minter, Mats Vifa, taking quality talent away from other football clubs in a similar or better position to them. Goes to show there's a statement there. There's a real statement of intent. They want to go back up and compete amongst the top 6 in the Premier League, which is very tough to do these days. And with Newcastle stumbling early on, with Manchester United stumbling early on, and Brighton looking better than Manchester United in that game there, Chelsea are not susceptible to a few slip-ups and missteps along the season. It's going to be a work in progress at times for other clubs trying to push in, like West Ham. There's a real chance here that Brighton might be that surprise package this season that might break back into Europe. So that's what the video was about, just talking about how the club has been run. I just think it's fantastic. When everyone questioned what they were doing at the football club, whether they going to make the right signings, they go and splash the cash and make those big signings. I think it's really, really positive. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you a big supporter of Fabian Hurzeler and his style of football? Do you agree that this is a fantastic window for Brighton? And how do you reckon they'll go this season? Do they break into European positions? And do they potentially compete for a trophy this season as well? It's looking very, very bright from the early 2 games we've seen from them so far. And a lot more to come, but very exciting to see from the opening stage of this season. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more content like this, and also press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos and podcasts here on the channel. With that being said, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the football that's coming up, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.